What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Zoop here, and Ragnarok is upon us. The apocalypse is here. Armageddon. Slava. Yes, it is time for Slava to finally make its appearance in World of Warships, once and for all, permanently. And I feel like we've been waiting on this ship for well over a year, and it might very well be over a year. I can't remember when we first started testing this ship, and when the rumors of its absolute overpoweredness and sheer ridiculousness started reverberating around the community. But that's behind us now, because this ship is here, and I can review it for you, and I can tell you what I think about it, and it has gone through some changes. And no, it's not going to be the apocalypse. No, it's not going to be the end of World of Warships as we know it. No, the ship is not OP like it used to be. It's not ridiculous. There's some definite pros and some definite cons to it. So we're going to get into that. And I think in the end we have a ship that is somewhat like the Slava of old, but it's a new ship and it's a little more well balanced. Yeah, it's still got railguns, but there's some definite things on it that keep it from being an overpowered ship. So we're going to get into that. But first, as we always do with these reviews, I'm going to give you some stats on the Slava. I'm going to tell you about it. And first thing to know, I guess, is that the Slava can be found in the research, the armory. Can't even remember the name of it right now. How ridiculous is that? You can use research points to get this ship. So like the Ohio and the Colbert, now we've got the Slava alongside them. And it's going to be a decision for you all if you have not researched one of those three ships yet. So definite decision there. I can tell you right now that, you know, all three ships are good. It just depends what you like. Let's touch on the survivability of the Slava first. You got 91,800 hit points. So not quite the 100k that most of the heavy-hitting battleships have, but that's okay. You've got 406mm guns. These, of course, are in a 3x3 arrangement. So, you know, you've got that typical old-school battleship look to it. I mean, that's nice, right? Yeah, absolutely awesome, right? Okay. Your secondaries, they're not great. I mean, they're not like, let's say, Yamato secondaries, or you're not going to be able to reach out to 11 kilometers with them. But you know what? You're not getting this ship for that. You just aren't. AA defense, it's 100, straight 100. Your AA guns on this are pretty devastating to enemy airplanes. In fact, you really don't have to touch your AA defense whatsoever. You don't have to beef it up at all. It's a stock. It's good enough as it is. And that's about all I'm going to say for that. Yeah, it's really good. Your maneuverability, maximum speed, 31 knots with Sierra mics. So, not the fastest in the world. Turning circle radius, 1,090. Basically the Exxon Valdez. Rudder shift time, 16.3 seconds. Your ship is big, slow, and wide turning. And, you know, 31 knots isn't like New York slow, or New Mexico slow, or USN pre-Tier 8 slow. But it's still pretty slow, especially by Tier 10 standards. I'm pretty sure there are faster battleships out there. Concealment, last but not least, you can get it down to 13.2 kilometers. And that's using, of course, Concealment Expert and the module. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of the Slava. Let's talk about it, because I know this is the huge elephant in the room. You all want to know how overpowered this ship is. You want to know how ridiculous the Slava is and how it's going to absolutely wreck things. And I'm going to tell you right now that it's not overpowered. At least in my opinion. It's just not. Yeah, the guns are good. I mean, you saw that opening montage. I wouldn't even call it a montage. Montage, you need several videos. You saw the opening shot of hitting that Kremlin, and you know what? That's awesome. We finally got a ship that can reliably hurt the Kremlin. It feels like no battleship can do that, but this one can. Its guns are they're good. The guns are really good. They're rail guns. They've got a very flat trajectory to them. I feel like the guns hit very, very hard, and that is definitely one of the very nice things about this ship. I mean, it's got good guns, and they hurt. They hurt real bad. I mean, it's like stalinium. But really, that's, in my opinion, all it's got going for it. Aside from the AA. Because, let's be honest, that AA is absolutely disgusting. It is, without a doubt, this ship is probably one of the best AA platforms out of all the battleships in the game. And, again, my opinion. Just my opinion. It shreds planes left and right. So, there you have it. Two things. Two things right there that are really, really good about this ship. But there are a lot of cons to this ship. A lot of cons. And it's basically going to be in your damage repair and your ability to heal back your hit pool. It's just not there. It is absent. And this is by design. They have done this deliberately because of how powerful and how hard-hitting the guns are. I mean, it takes a long time to regenerate your heal. Reload on your heal is going to be 76 seconds. So, you know, if you gotta heal back, you're going to be waiting a fair amount of time to be able to use that again. And your damage control party, I mean, I am running straight damage. I'm running straight damage control, and still, you're at about 70 seconds. And it feels like an eternity. And that's using Damage Control System Mod 1. That's using Damage Control System Mod 2. That's using Damage Control Party Mod 1. You know, the special upgrade that you can put in the 1 slot. And that's using everything available to my commander. And despite that, still over 70 seconds to get your repair party online. And you need that repair party, because another con of this ship is you are going to be on fire a lot. You're going to be burning a lot. This ship feels like it was made out of wood. Wood lacquered. Wood lacquered with lacquer on top of lacquer. And then with enamel on top of that. With a thin layer of gasoline just to seal the deal. This ship catches fire at the slightest breeze. So be prepared to be on fire a lot. The problem with that is, when you have 2 or 3 fires on you, and you need to pop that repair party, you're going to get 2 or 3 fires on you again. And you're going to have to wait 70 seconds for your repair party. And hopefully you haven't used your heal, because you're going to be waiting 70-something seconds for that heal. So yes, the ship is balanced by the fact that it does not heal quickly. Yeah, the ship's tanky. It can take a beating, but fire is its worst enemy, and when it does start shedding hit points, it takes forever to get them back, and it takes forever to get those fires out. And again, that is by design. That is deliberate right there, to make up for the fact that your guns are so strong and can do so much damage. So, when we talk about OP ships, this is not one of those OP ships, because despite great AA and great guns, alright, let's put it this way. For those of you out there that are able to play battleships and not take a lot of damage, you're going to do really, really well in this ship. For those of you that like to push, for those of you that like to be more aggressive, I'm going to tell you right now that the Ohio is probably going to be a better use of your armory points. It just is. Because if you try and do that in this ship, you're going to get melted. And that in its own is an issue. And I say that because the first iteration of the Slava that had so many issues that people complained so much about, one of the biggest things people complained about was that the original Slava was a sniper. You could sit in the back and absolutely peg ships. Well, that is still the case with this current Slava. But the problem with the heals and the damage control and everything else, it forces you to play that way. So we're not going to get a fix on this ship where it's going to be pushing like we might want it to. It's still very much going to be that hang out in the back with its deadly guns and push up when it's a little bit safer to do. Because once again, if you are overly aggressive in this ship, you're going to pay for it. You're going to catch fire. So that's the pros and cons of the Slava. And, you know, I think I just touched on which ships in the armory you should take. I'll touch on it again, though. If you're more of an aggressive type player, if you like pushing, if you like, you know, trying to cause a lot of damage up close and personal, I would say go with the Ohio. Ohio's got huge guns. Ohio's got great secondaries. And while Ohio will get citadeled on the side, it can take some punishment, and it's got a bigger hit pool. So I think overall, Ohio is a better ship for the aggressive player. Now, if you don't like being aggressive, if you do like hanging a little further back, Slava is probably going to fit you a little better because it's a hell of a lot more accurate. Feels like the guns are, you know, on point always. Does a lot of damage reliably. I mean, in Ohio, I feel like I'm not hitting shots I should hit because of the dispersion. However, in Slava, where I aim, basically put your clicker on what you want to die and watch it die. It doesn't really care what the ship is. Yamato, Kremlin, doesn't matter. It's going to hurt it. And especially if it's broadside, you're going to get citadels. It's Citadel City with this thing. So if you don't like pushing as much, if you feel more comfortable in the back, and you like conserving your hit points, and maybe like making that late play, Slava is definitely going to be the better of the choices for you. And then lastly, we've got the Colbert, which it's really unfair to bring the Colbert up because it's a cruiser and these are battleships. However, you know, I already have Ohio, and I'm going to have a decision soon, and, you know, I'm seriously thinking I'm probably leaning towards the Colbert just because the Colbert is unique. Not many people play it, and I have a feeling a lot of people are going to get the Slava. And you know what? They should. It's a good ship. It's not an overpowered ship. It's balanced by its insanely long heal times and its insanely long damage control times, but that's good because it does balance it out. And for those players that aren't as good with their damage control management and their heal management, they're the ones that are going to suffer in this ship. And while they might do a lot of damage early on in the beginning, they're probably not going to make it to the end of the round. You do have to play a little more cautiously. But overall, still a good ship. Still worth getting if you're thinking about it, or if you've already got the Ohio, you know. Can't go wrong with it. But once again, not overpowered. I'm thinking that Wargaming has kind of got a good balance here. But that being said, a Unicum player, a Super Unicum player, is still going to do extremely well in this ship. I mean, that's the case with most ships. But your average player out there, you might have a little more trouble. You might struggle a little more if you're an average player with this ship, just because of the long reloads on your heals and your damage control parties. So anyhow, that is the Slava. The Slava is here with 9.7. It's coming to the armory. It's available probably for some 55 or 60,000 armory points, whatever they're called. I can't remember right now. It's late and I'm tired. These twins, they're kicking my rear. And I know I say that a lot, but it's true. It's true. So for those of you that have had twins, you probably understand completely. You probably understand that I'm running off 4 hours of sleep and about a pot of coffee. That's the way it is. But I wanted to get this review out because I think it's important that you know about this ship, what it has to offer, and that it's not OP, it's not Ragnarok, it's not Armageddon, it's not the end of the world, it's not even the end of the World of Warships. It's just another ship. Another option at tier 10 that you now have. So, anyhow, best of luck. I want to know your thoughts on the Slava, what you think, whether you plan on picking it up, and I will catch you all later. Thanks for watching. Zoop out.